Welcome, the Gamer Man's Lounge. Awaken to play.
I figured we need to go ahead and talk about the situation in Action Taimanin because holy guacamole, it has been insane. So Action Taimanin is a free-to-play hack-and-slash gotcha game where you just basically unlock the character, go to town, and then you can basically roll the gotcha to get supporters and weapons for your characters. It's basically a chill and fun hack-and-slash that's also potato-friendly, and I play it a whole lot, and I've been playing it for years. So there was supposed to be a big update for Action Taimanin on the 4th of August. However, something ended up happening. As a matter of fact, it turned out that Apple was at fault. Now, basically what goes on is that not only Apple reviews your app before it enters the Apple Store, but it reviews updates for your Apple iOS apps before it enters the Apple Store. So every update has to get checked and reviewed. Every release has to get checked and reviewed by Apple. And however, Apple decided to go ahead and delay their review process, basically essentially holding up the update for all platforms. For the 5th of August, they ended up throwing in like a surprise mission and login mission campaign going on that was supposed to be coming for the 8th of August and the 9th of August to basically hold off players until the Apple App Store review finally gets finished and they could release the update to all platforms. And now they have started to admit that they had to go and expedite the review process with the Apple App Store. And then on the 7th of August, Gremory Games had to basically request an urgent review process with Apple as they still continued to basically hold up the August 4th update for all platforms. And to make up for it, Gremory Games decided to go ahead and say, hey, here's a coupon code that's going to give you 100 gems. And they apologized for the inconvenience. Of course, it's the Apple App Store review process for updates just taking way too longer than expected. Then you fast forward to the 11th of August, and they've basically said that there's a second delay with the Apple Store review of the update. On the 12th of August, they got feedback from Apple and they had to basically go ahead and come up with a new build of the update. And they did submit it. However, you fast forward to the 13th, and here comes more delays. Basically, Apple decided to tell them, hey, there needs to be some additional modifications before that update can release at all. Fast forward to the 18th of August, and they've reviewed that they've been rejected again by Apple for not meeting the guidelines when it comes to being released onto the Apple Store. But things get better because there's two images that have been pointed out by Apple, and it shows the beginning character select screen and a cutscene with Asagi and a story saying, Miss, you're the commander now. Feel free to call me Asagi. I'm not kidding. It is these two screenshots that were mainly pointed out by Apple. They were seen as problematic. It's weird. Oh, yes, and on the 19th of August, they had to hold an online video meeting with Apple's review team. And then on the 20th of August, the update finally releases. And of course, the Apple review team is very happy. What they had to do to comply with the now stricter guidelines was the dev team basically had to go and make the Secret Garden outfits, the Sleepover Ladies outfits, and a gift only for you outfits, and the Battle Scarred outfits unavailable for iOS users in order to basically be able to release the update, not just for the Apple Store, but for all platforms. So yeah, that's pretty funny. The outfits, despite being adjusted and censored exclusively for the iOS stores, had to be basically pulled from sale. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and say this. When it comes to iOS, okay, iPhone, iPad, just use them for like productivity or making video content or designing stuff or making art, making music, whatever the case may be. For entertainment and gaming purposes, go to Android. Because going to iOS for entertainment and gaming especially, yes, I know iOS devices have been more than capable of handling Genshin past 60 frames per second, but to be honest with you here, you really just don't want to go to iOS for gaming and entertainment. You're going to have to basically go to Android for that, since Apple is going to be very strict when it comes to games like Action Taimanin here, for example. And when it comes to Apple and iOS, you're walking yourself into a walled garden. And when it comes to the walled garden, you have yourself stricter platform policies. And Apple has been known to go more than Karen than ever. If you want the uncensored experience when it comes to Action Taimanin, your best bet is to go to the Steam version. Either that, if you're going to plan on playing it on Android, go to the Galaxy Store. From what I've heard, the Galaxy Store version is going to carry the uncensored version when it comes to Android. Because when it comes to Google Play, getting it from Google Play, you're going to be getting a censored version because guess what? Google decided to go full Karen as well. Every year, the censorship just starts to worsen more and more and more when it comes to video game content. And it's gone more than haywire. As a matter of fact, the gacha game scene has been affected more than ever because the censorship has spreaded more to the gacha game scene. It used to be back in the good old days where, okay, a paid game where you pay $50, you go in there and you see more scrutiny, and Karens decide, hey, we can't have that happen and that happen and that happen. So when that game releases, they come out like changed around and altered. But if you were to go to a gacha game, you would get the uncensored experience. And now it's changing, and the timeline of the changes seem to escalate year by year. Gaming is at rock bottom right now. As a matter of fact, it's not just, oh, the RAM prices are going up, solid state drive price is going up. It's also the quality of games going downward as the amount of effort, blood, sweat, and tears put into game development seems to take a huge dip. But it's also the cases of excessive censorship worsening and worsening. We're seeing payment processor censorship, and now we're seeing Google Play having stricter content guidelines, and now Apple wants to basically out-strict Google at the moment. I also do want to go ahead and bring up Brown Dust 2 because they basically had to censor content once again, but when it comes to South Korea, where the game's being developed, and this is due to the South Korean law being stricter with game design and gaming content, so they have to basically work with legal complications in regards to their game content that the Brown Dust 2 dev team had to basically take into factor. But it didn't stop there. We noticed that there was more than what was displayed that had to be censored for South Korea. And there was more censorship exposed for Brown Dust 2. And I don't know where Brown Dust 2 is right now because it's in that darker path and because it got hit hard by censors. And I've already brought up the situation with Snowbreak before, but man, that game got brutally smacked hard by censors. The game got censored into probably near end of service status. That bad. So the censorship in video games can escalate pretty bad to where you could see gacha games get censored into EOS status. And that future is coming pretty soon, by the way. It's coming really soon. When it comes to the situation that's going on right now, we're pretty much going to reach like drastic, cataclysmic, draconian levels of escalation when it comes to the situation that we're seeing right now. I hate to break it to everybody, but we're really cooked. Anyway, with that totally said, that is all. I will be looking forward to you in the next video. Peace out.